this example shows you that this example simply selects a range. Simply select a range. Okay. And then to select the cells on different worksheet, you have to activate this sheet first. You actually I'm going to start using it, you tell the system. Okay. That's important to know. Just selecting it. Okay. The reason why it's selected is good because once you select them, you can actually you do other things like a copy and paste and those sort of things. So I think this is good. So let's actually look at the examples. Okay, so I have this example opened up. All these range example cells, declare, select, rows, columns, copy, clear, and count. So let's take a look at the one that's more interesting. One's like a select. let's take a look at the select. So you can select a particular cells that allow you to select a particular cell. So click on the select, and then I'm going to click on this button here, and so it will just select, and then the rows, actually that will do what? Select the particular rows, right? And then the columns, that will select particular columns if you wanna. Now what's the difference between select and the rows and the columns? Well, this one selects based on the range, okay, whereas this one Um, this one, you still select, but within the select, you don't select the entire thing. You give access to particular range based on the whatever the range you have. You select a particular rows. Same thing with the same thing with the columns. So if you have a particular like let's say you give you can select first, and then based on that you can select a particular column. Now these references, they are kind of like an index. Same thing with the, if you look at the worksheets, they're indexed. So what that means is use worksheet number 3. So if you take a look at this example, so let's look at this worksheet number 3. Which one is that? Worksheet number 3, range. Okay. So worksheet number 3. So let's click on the select again. Let's look at the code. So click on this, design, button, look at the code. Okay. So this one says what? Declare the as a dimension, as a range, set example equals that's setting the variable example equals range. Okay. And yeah, this doesn't refer as worksheet number 3. I don't know why it says that. Activate. Oh. Oh, okay. If you want to select different worksheets, for example, you activate it. You can do this. So these are just the comments. If you want to select different worksheets. So let's say, let's go back to here. So 1, 2, 3 is this one here. Let's say we like to select something out of number 2. Okay, this one here, number 2 cells, and I want to select so let's say I like to select particular select these guys here. So that will be B4 to what? D5. B4 to D5. Okay. And which is worksheet number 2. Okay. So for that, if you want to do that, then you'll be 2. Once you activate it, okay, then you can select now what's that, what's the range again? B4 to D5. B4 to D5. So B4 to D5. Okay. And then you just have to, add this, the method, which is just select. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you will do now this program. What does this program do? It will do 2 things. One is it's gonna select the current worksheet, which is the select worksheet, and then it's also going to select this one, worksheet number 3, number 2. We said number 2. So it's going to worksheet. So 2 things. Okay, it's going to select out of that work 2. Yeah. Okay, so let's try this. So we go select this one here. Okay, so let's run this. Get out of the design mode and I'm going to click on the button here. Okay, so it actually selects this guy here. Okay. Okay. Also, and this 2 things. Okay, so select that one, select that one. So which is kind of useful. Let's say you like to copy from. Let's play with the copy and paste. I think that's fairly useful. You like to copy from one worksheet to another. You automatically select is good, but you like to there's a method called the copy, right? So selection dot yeah, selection dot copy and paste. Copy and paste. Activate paste. Okay. So let's take a look at it. Now this one obviously copies it from this guy here and then puts it onto here. Same sheet. Right? So how do we copy to another worksheet? So actually we can even copy to another workbook if we want to. But we'll do our copying to another worksheet. This actually this says it does the same thing as here, which is fine. But we'll do same worksheet, same and different workbook. So let's close this out. So let's say we like to copy this. When I press button here, copy. When I press this button, obviously it's going to copy that stuff and same stuff here, right? Okay, we don't want that. So when I press this button here, I'm going to copy the sheet number 2 and to sheet number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. So it's going to copy it into sheet number 7. And somewhere around here, I don't know where. Like that. So 2 to 7. Okay. So let's modify this problem. Sometimes I guess that's useful if you have, like, if you want to write a program that, okay, if the data is spread around and you let the user, like, after you copy, you can calculate stuff, So anyway, or you can even copy the text from somewhere. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the code. So this one copies into same worksheet, right? So we just have to modify, so we don't even need this method. We need to modify such way that it's gonna copy from the worksheet number 2. So we said that we can put reference. So how do we reference the worksheet number 2? You could reference, you just have to put worksheets and whatever, right? So we can do it 2 ways. We can give a specific worksheet name or just use an index number. Okay, we'll do it index number method. So number 2 to 7 we said, right? So number 2 to 7. So we just have to put select. Now it's not 8 to 7. We have to modify that. Okay, so we have to modify this part here. 8 to 7. We have to modify this. Okay, so we go to here. Let's take a look at the sheet again. It's what? B4 to D5. B4 to D5. Try to remember that. B4 to D5. B4 to D5. B4 to D5. A little bit messy because you have to, each time you have to activate it. That's the only difference. Activate, and then worksheet, where it's copying from and where you are copying to. Okay, paste. Okay, I'll post this for you. So it's a little bit modification to what we did. So I'll post on the CTL for you. Okay, I think that's a good example because, these are nice, but we like to work with multiple worksheets. Okay, well, that was kind of a lot, so I think we'll do one more item and then and that's it. Well, actually, we'll look at the variables and if-then statement. Variables, we kind of did that. Variables, they stand for something. I talked about the dimension and in Visual Basic program, you give a name, and then you give a data type, like an integer, and then you can actually assign the values. Okay, that way. There's an integer, there's a text, um, there's a string. Text will be a string, so as a string of characters, you could assign it that way. Double means like a decimal points. Okay, so same thing we did before, concatenation. You could do that. All right, so they are fairly straightforward. Let's look at the if then. If then statement. This one is interesting because we did something like this for the homework assignment, except that that was just it didn't involve the Visual Basic Access. This one you can assign whether it's has a pass or fail, depending on, if you have value, then you can automatically assign pass or fail. So we should try this. Okay, so what does this, let's take a look at this program first. Okay, so this one looks like it's going to assign pass or fail automatically when I click on the button. Alright. So just for that one, if I do this one, of course it's not gonna do it. But let's take a look at it. So that's the code. Same thing as example here. That's going to do what? That's going to first score as that's a variable name, score, as an integer, and result as a string. So we have two variables, scores and integers, results. All right, and then the scores will be the value from the first cell. Okay, which will be the score. And then once you have the score, then if the score is greater or equal to 60, that will pass. If it's otherwise, that will be fail. Okay, or you can state it different way. If it's less than 60, it will fail. Otherwise, it will be pass. It's logically it's equivalent, the same thing. And then the result is this will be the result you display. Okay, let's modify this program a little bit. Now remember we did like an input, instead of like putting from here, let's have a user input the value using the text box, you know, the message box, input box I should say, input box. And then if the user inputs something, then it will display on the worksheet. Instead of message box, we'll put it right here, pass something. Okay, so if again, if we ask a user to put a score, we get the score, and then we just put it into any of this cell. Right, so let's go back to first thing is we're gonna use something like this, fine, but so problem is the message box, right? The message box. So going back to our, not message box, the input box function. Okay, so input box. How did we do the input box? We go, there's an input box function, right? So which is good. So we give app automation, we give input box, and then we'll say give me the score, and then my value. Now my value, you cannot just do that, you still have to do what? Declare. Okay, dimension as a variant, we did that last time. Okay, and then my value. Okay, now if a user puts something, it's saved into here. All right, now how do we actually check and see? That will be actually a score. Instead of, you know, my value, we can input the score. Okay, so that will be a score. So we're gonna change this to change around score, and this is not going to be range anymore. Okay, score, pass fail. And that's pretty much it, because input box score and 60, and then this will actually put it in there. Okay, so that's gonna be our program. Oh, what over here? As a variant integer. Oh, okay. This one, it's not gonna be the variant. It's gonna be, yeah, integer. Variant was what? Variant can hold any type of value. So, yeah. It's gonna be a just test score. Okay, so we got that. So let's copy this, and then Excel, we're gonna modify this program. Okay, erase some of this here. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, we'll put it right in here. right? Okay, so check and make sure, and then I'm gonna run it. So give me a score like a 50. Fail. Wow, no good. I wanna pass. Give me a score 90. Pass. Okay. So we kind of utilize what we learned previously and modify the program. Alright, so I think that's probably enough for Visual Basic Access. I just wanted to give you an introduction. It's not something that I'm too familiar with. I had to kind of, you know, learn this language myself. But there are a lot of things you can do, including the one that kind of looked interesting was like actually the forms. You can create your own forms. If you go here, the user form, you can actually make the entire form. Kind of like the Microsoft Access. You can use create the form. But if you work for a company that everybody use worksheets and Excel, and then you can make some improvements. Okay. So anyway, so that's probably it for Excel. Next Wednesday, then I'll give you a sample kind of exam questions, and we'll work on the review next week, so that the following week we'll have the exam. Okay. All right. So send me questions. You need the participation points, and I'll talk to you later, and have a nice weekend. Bye bye.